Rudolph Speid's extended interview offers valuable insight into his thinking as interim head coach, but it also raises important questions about communication, tactical clarity, and leadership within the Jamaican football program. A balanced assessment requires acknowledging both the strengths and the areas that merit reflection. 1. His exchange regarding Craig Butler reflects deeper communication challenges. Speid's comments about Craig Butler were unusually personal. In the interview, he agreed that Bailey was, statistically, the worst player on the pitch and refers to Butler as a serial failure. Regardless of the history between the two, this type of language is not typical of senior national team leadership. A more constructive approach would have been to address the footballing critique directly, clarify any misunderstandings, and move on. Public disagreements between football stakeholders can easily overshadow the team's on-field priorities. 2. His explanation of the New Caledonia match mixes valid points with broad generalizations. Speid is correct that global football has become more tactically balanced. Smaller nations are better organized, better coached, and more competitive than in previous decades. His reminder that there is no easy match is fair. However, the interview leans heavily on external factors, luck, refereeing, global parity, without fully addressing Jamaica's own structural issues. Later in the interview, he acknowledges that our defending is atrocious. Jamaica's performance had more to do with internal weaknesses than global trends. A clearer separation between global context and team-specific analysis would strengthen the message. 3. His tactical explanation for the Congo match shows intent, but also inconsistency. Speid outlines a plan built around maintaining possession to defend better, using Tyrese Campbell to pin Aaron Wan-Bissaka, using Leon Bailey to attack Masuaku, making like-for-like pace substitutions. These ideas are logical in theory. However, the execution and the explanations raise questions. The possession-based defensive plan was not fully realized. Speid emphasizes that keeping the ball is a defensive tool. This is true, but Jamaica struggled to maintain structured possession against Congo. Without consistent build-up patterns or rest-defense organization, the team was forced into long spells without control. The justification for keeping Leon Bailey on the pitch was based on potential, not performance. The interviewer cites Bailey's statistical struggles, including losing possession 30 times. Speid responds by saying they believed his quality would eventually produce a moment. This is understandable. Elite players can change games. But it also highlights a tension between reputation and real-time performance, something that Reggae Boys fans are confused about. A more detailed explanation of Bailey's tactical role would have provided clarity. The decision to remove Tyrese Campbell remains debatable. Campbell was one of Jamaica's most effective outlets, yet Speid attributes the substitution to accumulated minutes. While player load is important, removing a player who is winning his matchup in a knockout game is always a delicate decision. The explanation would benefit from more detail on fitness assessments or tactical triggers. 4. His comments on the VAR incident reflect frustration but also uncertainty. Speid expresses concern that the referee did not go to the monitor and speculates that the official may have been physically compromised. While the situation was unusual, publicly questioning a referee's condition is sensitive territory. A more measured approach would be to focus on procedural clarity. Was the VAR protocol followed? Should the referee have reviewed the footage personally? What communication occurred between officials? These questions can be raised without speculating about the referee's health. 5. His substitution logic shows adaptability, but also reactive tendencies. Throughout the interview, Speid describes substitutions as responses to Congo's adjustments. This demonstrates awareness, but it also suggests Jamaica was reacting more than dictating. At the international level, the most successful teams impose their structure rather than constantly adjusting to the opponent's moves. Jamaica's substitutions appeared to be driven by opponent behavior, player fatigue, individual matchups. A clearer articulation of the overarching game model would help contextualize these decisions. Overall assessment. Rudolph Speid's interview reveals a coach who understands many of the modern principles of football: possession as defense, matchup exploitation, tactical flexibility, but who sometimes struggles to communicate these ideas in a clear, composed, and consistent manner. The interview would have benefited from more emphasis on team accountability, less personalization of disagreements, clearer tactical explanations, a more measured tone regarding officials, stronger articulation of Jamaica's long-term football identity. Speid's passion for the game is evident. The next step is ensuring that passion is paired with communication that strengthens confidence in the program and provides clarity for players, fans, and stakeholders.